morning, everybody. We are just leaving Maryland now. We're headed down to Richmond, Virginia for VCDL's annual Gun Lobby Day. VCDL, it's Virginia Citizens Defense League, and for those that are not aware of what that is, it's, I guess you would say, it's kind of like the NRA but of Virginia, where they advocate on behalf of Virginia citizens and in defense of our Second Amendment rights. They've been doing this rally for decades now, and I've gone for the last, I believe it's 3 years now, and it's always been a great event. I'm actually really excited. Last year, I will say, with the whole COVID shit going on, it wasn't as great as it usually is, and that they were doing a lot of things down there in Richmond to make it harder for us to be able to exercise our First Amendment rights. But the year before that was the big year. The year before that was 2020, right before COVID popped off. That was the last big gun lobby rally day, and when I went to that one, it was honestly, it is the best event I've ever been to. There was so many people coming out in support of Lobby Day. There was literally tens of thousands of people. I would roughly estimate literally 50,000 people or more. When we went out there, we parked at the Diamond, which we're going to head there now. The Diamond is the local minor league baseball field stadium there in the heart of Richmond, and they have a whole lot of parking there. So what we did was, a lot of people gathered there, and then they took buses from there down into the actual, deep part of the city where the Capitol is, and we're dropping people off. They also have buses coming in from all throughout the state of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Northern Virginia, they got a couple buses. They got some from Southern Virginia, got some from Norfolk, and there's tons of people just pouring in support of this, and it's been so great. Like when I was here for 2020, there were so many people. The streets and the sidewalks were full. People nut to butt. It was one of those where it's inevitable that you're gonna bump into somebody, and it was the most polite event I've ever been to. You bump into somebody, you apologize, my bad, and they're apologizing to you, and oh man, what do you care? And and it was just it was amazing to go, and I will always be going in support of this, whether I am a Virginia resident, as I currently am and have been for the last 8 or 9 years, or whether I end up moving back to Maryland eventually. Virginia Citizens Defense League, they will always have my support. I want to try to see, though, going forward, I want to try to see how we can take some of their tactics and their approach to this whole thing and bring that back to Maryland, because we don't have a VCDL in Maryland. We don't have a organization that is got such a grassroots effort and brings so many people together in support of our First Amendment and our Second Amendment rights. Maryland Shadow Shoot, they do a decent job and stuff, and they really try, but it's just not. It just doesn't perform the same way that VCDL does, and that's something that we really need to bring back to Maryland, to bring positive change in the way of allowing Marylanders to better exercise their Second Amendment rights, which are so restricted by their elected officials that they honestly keep on electing for some reason. So let's get down here and see how it's going. Got down here to Richmond, and we found some public parking very close by to the state grounds, and we had to disarm because we're going in through the restricted area where they are permitting firearms, and we're going to go inside, go through screening, and we are going to talk to some of the elected officials and let them know about our feelings on the Second Amendment and how we desire for them to actually defend our rights rather than restrict them. stuff.
You're a fire training company?
Firearms training.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we need a lot more of that.
Yep, yes, sir. Yes, sir. What was your name again?
Cal.
Kyle, nice to meet you, man. Ryan.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My friends here.
Hey, how's it going, man?
How you doing?
Nice to meet you. How's it going, man? Hey, how's it going, guys? How's it going? Nice to meet you guys. Yeah, keep up the good work, guys. Appreciate y'all. So we're actually here right now at the corner of East Gray Street and North, 9th Street, and this is one of the locations we were at 2 years ago during 2020's lobby day. And these streets, if any of y'all seen some of the news clippings, a lot of them came from this area. These streets from fence to fence, all the way down, everywhere you could see, anywhere you could fit a person, there was a person. And it was crazy seeing the outpouring of support for the Second Amendment here at the state capitol. We're just outside the Virginia State Capitol grounds, and we're about to walk in, and we're gonna find out exactly what we need to do to be able to get inside the building and be able to talk to some of these legislators. So let's go on in and see what we can do. Morning. Good. All right, so we're in the West Wing. We're on the 4th floor. We're gonna be reaching out and meeting with some of the local the legislators that are in their offices here. Let's see. We're right here. So is that her office right there?
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team.
Hey, yes sir. How's it going? Nice to see y'all.
Hey. Sorry, it's been crazy, man.
No worries.
How you doing?
Good, good.
Good.
Hey.
How you doing? Oh, sorry, you got that?
And by the way, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm fine.
All right,
Sure.
cool. Yeah, I'm a firearms training company. I'm the
great.
company with a YouTube and a vlog and stuff. But just coming up and seeing all the different delegates and senators and whatnot and saying hi and just voicing our support and stuff. And I appreciate a lot of what you've been doing over the years and whatnot.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm a Marine Corps veteran myself and whatnot. So
Oh, good deal.
But yeah,
What'd you do in the Marine Corps?
So I did 5 years. I was doing security forces down at Kings Bay, Georgia, and after that
okay.
I got orders to Camp Lejeune. I worked on the range, and that's how I got into firearms training.
Yeah.
So, but what kind of bills you got coming up that you want to talk about at all?
So the first thing that's been really excited for me is that I get to actually chair the subcommittee on public safety now that we'll hear all of the gun legislation.
Okay.
So obviously that puts us in a good position to be able to make sure that we're defending our Second Amendment rights. We'll certainly give everyone an opportunity to come present their bills, argue for them. I'm going to be I'm carrying constitutional carry this year.
Nice.
I've carried it for, I think 2 or 3 years now. Look, bottom line is, when we're talking about an essential civil liberty and your inherent right to be able to defend yourself, I don't think you need to go through a bunch of different hoops and pay fees in order to qualify for that.
Exactly.
So I think, again, we'll have a fight over in the Senate, but constitutional carry is going to be an important one. And then a lot of it is rolling back what was done over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So, for instance, Delegate Price carried a bill 2 years ago where it gave every locality in Virginia the ability to come up with their own gun policy.
Yeah.
And so now you're in a situation where you go to a gun show in Loudoun County, you purchase a firearm, and perfectly legal there, but then you could be violating several laws as you drive back home. Right?
Exactly.
That's ridiculous. So we're going to try to get rid of that. One handgun a month, that was a stupid restriction.
Yep.
It completely throws off all of my Christmas shopping.
There's things I don't agree with, but I understand where they're coming from. Where were they coming from with that? I don't understand
So
it.
what it has to do is with firearms trafficking.
Yeah.
So essentially their argument is that a lot of the gun violence that goes on in these cities is a result of people coming into places like Virginia or Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
They buy a bunch of firearms and they go and they sell them in these other areas, or they use them in these other areas. Now, again, I think that's a horrible argument with respect to gun violence, because if you're saying that all these gun restrictions make your city safer, well then please explain to me why Cook County in Illinois, that has Chicago, has had more deaths by firearms than literally U.S. casualties in Afghanistan for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. And then they always come back with, oh, well, they go into Indiana and they buy them. Like, oh, well, gosh, the crime spree in Indiana
must be crazy.
Horrible.
Yes.
Oh, it isn't? Gosh, maybe your causation correlation isn't really working out right now. And I mean, obviously, one of the things that I always impress upon people when we're talking about the Second Amendment or Article 1, Section 13 of the Virginia Constitution, guns gets the focus, but what it's really about is self-defense. And there are certain things that we can achieve as a government, right? We can incentivize things, we can punish things, whatever. But ultimately, we don't control the outcome. And when I see people in this building talking about solutions, when really what they're talking about is trade-offs. And when the trade-off is constantly, they get more power, they get more control, they get more money at the expense of our individual liberty or our ability to protect ourselves, I have a problem with that trade-off. Because I've deployed to too many countries where I've seen that trade-off take effect. And so I think it's incumbent upon us when we talk about why gun rights, or more specifically, your right to self-defense is so important and needs to be protected, is because ultimately it's the safeguard of a free society. And I always, I don't want to say lecture, but whenever we talk about the wording of the Second Amendment, why did they word it the way they did?
Yeah, words matter.
Yeah, and it wasn't just, the founders were acknowledging a pre-existing right to you as the individual to be able to defend yourself. But then that first part that a lot of the anti-gun crowd likes to use, like a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, they think, oh, well, well-regulated militia, that's what they meant. No. When they did that part, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, what they were acknowledging was that your individual right is important not only for your personal safety, it's also important for the security of a free state.
Yep.
And so I think we need to make sure that when we advocate, we're not just advocating for, again, our right,
yes,
although that's sufficient. We're also advocating for everyone that became a victim that didn't need to become a victim because their government came in and took away their ability to defend themselves.
Exactly.
And so that's never acceptable to me.
No.
And anyways, it's going to be an interesting session, but I'm happy with where we're at right now. The Senate that'll be a battle.
Yeah. If you need, honestly, any assistance at all or someone that can talk on different things that's not elected or whatever, let me know. I'm a resident of King George, Virginia. I'm not in your district and whatnot, but I'm a resident of King George, Virginia. And actually, I evacuated from Maryland. I'm from Maryland, born and raised. And I do actually a lot of our work over there. And I advocate over here as well, but I advocate a lot in Annapolis, because Annapolis, they always, every year, they're trying to further infringe. And they've got a lot of the same things that Virginia's been trying to put in, and it hasn't helped Baltimore over the decades.
No.
They have the one gun a month too. They have May issue where you have to have a reason, and you have to have substantiation for that reason why you need to be able to carry and defend yourself and your family.
Well, I'll tell you what's so fascinating about that is that if you actually look at the history of the whole may versus shall, one of the big reasons why we pushed it to shall was not only because, again, we believe it's an inherent individual right, it was because the may states during the Jim Crow era were specifically using that for racial reasonings to target black Americans.
Exactly.
And they were preventing black Americans from being able to get concealed carry permits. I mean, explain to me how in a Jim Crow South, Martin Luther King was not allowed to get a permit. It's because it said may instead of shall.
Exactly.
And it left it up to the arbitrary discretion of who got to exercise their civil liberties.
Yes.
And so, again, I find it so fascinating, the same people that are constantly trying to tell us about our racist past want to ignore
and continue it.
The racist history and double down on it.
Yes.
Ignore the racist history of how that particular wording, that particular law was constantly manipulated and used in an inappropriate manner. And that's one of the reasons why we're big on the shall, not just may.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, a lot of politicians in Maryland stuff, they'll try to hide behind, well, I didn't put that into play. No, you're continuing it decades later. So continuing it, putting it in, it's equal.
Yeah.
So, but cool. Well, hey, I appreciate your time and stuff. Nice
Thank
meeting you and
guys.
stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, for real, even off the camera and stuff, if you need anything, I'm an idiot. I forgot my business cards.
Oh, no
but
worries.
for real, I'll maybe email you or hit you on Facebook.
Yeah, and then Gina, make sure you get Gina's card too, because Gina knows my schedule better than I do.
I understand you're all busy and whatnot.
And again, it's a good thing, but I went from having, last year obviously there was different leadership, so I had 2 committees, and this year I have 4 committees and 2 subcommittee chairmanships, so it's going to be a busy time.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. All right, well, I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Thank you. Morning. I like that.
work for PTP?
Yes, sir.
Maryland?
Yes, sir.
I'm Rick Timberlake.
I'm Ryan Gash. We met before.
you again.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good, good. Yeah, I put a little extra facial hair on and stuff.
I
Got a
can't
little.
recognize you anymore.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's a look of success that,
Yes, sir.
that precedes you.
Yes, sir.
How's it going for you?
Good,
I
good.
get your
Staying
emails
busy.
all the time, partner. Thank you for keeping me on,
Yes, sir.
on
Yes,
the lead
sir.
on that.
How's everything going for you?
Good. I'm sorry.
You were looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly what I'm doing a bunch of stuff up on the Eastern Shore, so I'm just south of you.
Yeah.
Accomack County,
Yeah.
Accomack and Northampton, but I'm still messing around over in the gun shows,
Yeah.
Peninsula and up in Chantilly and things like that.
Nice.
It's pretty much, I think it's pretty much been stagnant, I think in some ways, Virginia and Utah, just trying to push on those. I got my Maryland certification.
Yeah.
Because I got my DC certification. So that's I've got that framed and hanging on my wall.
Yeah.
But finding a range to do that,
Yeah.
Ryan, is what the killer is.
Oh yeah, no. What we do a lot of times is use private properties and stuff.
I know.
So that's like a hard thing to gain. We gain like 2 or 3 every year and stuff just through networking of students at classes.
But see, I've got a place over in near Warrenton Airport,
Okay.
called Range 82. Range 82 has an old 40 by 10 trailer
Yeah.
right next to a 35-yard covered range.
Nice.
And what that is, the guy bought an old airport and gutted the airport hangar.
Yeah.
So you got covered 35-yard range. The problem is it's a business.
Yeah.
And that's not a problem. It's just that when we want to bring 12 people for a Maryland class,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah. That's,
Yeah, yeah.
So it almost kills your profit.
What if you want me asking, what does he charge per student or whatnot, or per class?
What he told me is that, if you're out here teaching a student, then that's at least half. So if he's talking about charging 50%, son, we're not in business.
No, not
what I
even
mean?
close.
And I know he's got a business to run. I realize all that. I know that business hasn't been good for him. I
Yeah.
get that. He and I are old colleagues, so
Yeah.
we know each other.
Yeah.
But the idea is that for him to be a little greedy about it, that's the tough part. So
Yeah.
you say to yourself, well, let's get into a business relationship so that we can start negotiating this. It's not even worth that. I think is the worst way to put it.
Damn.
Getting people to come down from Northern Virginia, to which a lot of folks in Fairfax will come down and get that Maryland permit.
Yeah.
We could probably get a crowd. But what's that, $900 a person?
It depends what you're trying to do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
a Maryland certification. The idea is that I can build, like you do, I can build a lot of other states into it.
Yeah.
But all they give a shit about is Maryland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
Man.
still get boatloads of people getting the Utah class my way.
Yeah.
Coming down from Maryland.
Yeah.
Both the Eastern Shore and Chantilly.
Nice.
And that continues to be a good thing.
Yeah.
One of the questions that we had asked us today, Ryan, by the delegate was, would you be willing to put up with us fighting the regional gun laws if we were to stiffen Virginia's requirement? If we made a range requirement in the state of Virginia, would you be willing to make that as a requirement, but then encourage the anti-gun folks to say, oh, well, yeah, okay. Because with that, once you make a range requirement, then all this preemption stuff, all this this region, that region, well, that has to go away.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting question. It's just that how well can you mobilize some of these private ranges, some of these police departments to give up their range for us to go ahead and do it? You know what I'm saying?
What ranges do you use? A lot of private properties too and stuff? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got a guy out in Saluda who's his hill. You stand on top of the hill, and he's got a pile of brush down the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
So it's like a 15-degree angle.
Yeah.
So you're shooting down.
Yeah.
You're shooting safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the best thing about it.
Yep. Cool. All right. Hey, well, it was nice to link up with you and stuff.
Good
Hey,
seeing you, man.
if you want to possibly link up on some future training and stuff like we've done in the past a little bit, I wouldn't mind doing that again still. Not that I didn't want to do it in the past, just
I know.
things get busy and
I
it's
agree.
crazy and it's crazy. It's been 6 years since we did that one class in La
Yes,
Plata
sir.
and stuff. You remember that?
Correct.
Yeah, and then we did that class up there near Winchester and
Yes,
stuff at
sir.
that guy's house.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So,
Unbelievable.
yes, sir.
It's been that long.
Cool. Yeah. It's crazy how time flies.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And you, as far as me monitoring your emails, you've got a whole new staff. You've got great support.
Yep.
I've got a website now.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing.
Yeah.
The idea is that for you to openly carry a firearm, that's a gun.
Yeah.
When you conceal it, that's a nug. So my website is Nug Safety.
Nug Safety. Okay.
.us.
Cool.
And the minute I put that up, the people that they're trying to get into the state to sell marijuana,
Yeah.
they're like, hey, I want that website. I don't want that domain. I want Nug Safety. No, baby.
That's funny. That's funny. Cool, man. Hey, well, I appreciate it.
Good
Nice
seeing
to
you,
see you.
Ryan.
And do you mind if we use this at all in our vlog on our PTP YouTube channel?
Have at it.
Cool.
Have
All
at
right.
it. Not
Appreciate you.
Good seeing you.
Yes, sir. You too.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. So that gentleman, he actually did classes for us in the beginning. In the very beginning, when I first started PTP, I wasn't yet certified for Utah concealed carry. So I had to reach out and find instructors, and I had about 4 different instructors I used to be able to put on these classes and have them actually be certified. And he was one of those 4. And since then, obviously, I've been certified and recertified and whatnot, so I haven't had to do that anymore. But I'm going to start reaching out to more instructors like that, as I've done in the past with Jason McCoy or Matt Watson, and starting to bring these other instructors in to kind of bring a different viewpoint in. So we're going to be talking to him soon, and hopefully get some more class on schedule with him.
Get ready.
Yeah. All right. So we went in there, spoke with a few of the different delegates and senators, met a few people that I'd met before and talked with, and it was good catching up with them. We're going to walk around and see if we can't talk to some more supporters out here, and hopefully find some of the VCDL leadership and maybe talk to them as well. How's it going, guys? Good, good. Mr. Ron, what's your name again, sir?
Ron Benghazi Headley.
Ron Benghazi Headley. If you haven't already, find him on YouTube. We'll put a link in the description below after we're done filming this. But I was talking to the gentleman just now about an incident that happened on Friday. I'm going to let him better explain it and what happened. So if you could, tell us what happened.
Sure. Friday was the last full day of our former governor's administration. So I went over between the governor's mansion and the governor's office building, the Patrick Henry building, which is a public square. And I had a protest sign wishing him goodbye, and it said F Governor Coonface. And Governor Coonface was his nickname in college, so that's why it was appropriate to have that term on there. And then on the back side of the sign, I actually had a picture of an aborted baby, so I was standing between where he would have to walk between his governor's mansion and the governor's office. And several people in the Department of General Services found it offensive, and they called Capitol Police to have me removed. And I ended up being arrested for not having a permit to protest.
And you're on a public sidewalk, right?
Yeah, just like we are here, on a public venue. Now, it is owned by the Department of General Services. They own it, the state property, and they claim that I had to have a permit in order to protest. I was only there as an individual, not in a group. And only if you have a group of 10 or more are you required to get a permit from the DGS. And so I feel my civil rights were violated in exercising my First Amendment rights. The only permit I needed was the First Amendment.
Exactly. And you were there by yourself as a private citizen, right?
Only by myself. Nobody else was there filming me. I just had my own camera, and I did about 5 videos that led up to the arrest. I didn't know I was going to be arrested when I was filming those videos. But it's part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th video is a video of my arrest.
And you posted those again on your YouTube channel, which is Ron Benghazi
Headley. Yeah.
Yep.
I posted those, and then other YouTubers have picked those up, and just like you, finding interest in it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you talked about you had a local politician of yours that you saw and you were talking about.
Well, I've let my politicians know, but we were out here today with the gun rights lobby events like you are.
Yes.
And another delegate walked by, and he actually I used to live where he is a delegate, and he took an interest in my story, and so I just have left the House of Delegates office building where he took an interest in it, and I've turned over all the information of my situation to him and his aide, and they're going to look into this.
What do you think might come about? Do you actually be able to help, or?
Well, from everybody that I've talked to, both lawyers and representatives, they think this is a bogus case.
Yeah.
And some of them, they're talking about having the case dropped.
Yeah.
And there are no legal grounds for this arrest. And so my hope is that it gets dropped even before my arraignment tomorrow.
Right, and you were talking about too, if this isn't dropped and it does you are somehow found guilty and convicted, how is this going to affect your rights?
Well, and that's the seriousness of this. In Virginia, trespassing is a Class 1 misdemeanor. And a Class 1 misdemeanor is the highest class of a misdemeanor before it goes into the felony. And obviously, if you have a felony, you're not allowed to own a gun.
Right.
And so that's why I'm concerned. What is the impact of a Class 1 misdemeanor when you have a concealed handgun permit?
Is it a Class 1 misdemeanor? I know you may not be a lawyer, or stuff, but is it a Class 1 misdemeanor because of the location, or like if you trespass on my private property?
I think any trespass is a class. I don't know that.
Yeah.
But that's what they're charging me with.
Wow.
And the reason being was because I did not have a permit to protest on DGS property.
What is, like, not that you needed one based on what their website says, but like, what is the process even to go and get a permit anyway?
Well, it's like VCDL, even for this event. And this year, VCDL is not having a event on Capitol grounds because of the permitting process that was done through Governor Northam.
Yeah,
so hopefully next year they'll end up doing something else.
Okay.
And just to know, I don't speak for VCDL on their behalf.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're all just here to support and stuff, and hopefully further our gun rights.
Right.
So, hey, well, I appreciate you talking with us about your arresting situation. Hopefully it goes well for you and stuff. And if you haven't yet done so already, we'll put in a link in the description below. Check out his YouTube channel, which is Ron
Benghazi Headland.
Yep, absolutely. You can watch the videos from the actual arrest and see how it all went down. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Stay safe, stay warm.
Take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. All right, guys, so we had a great day in Richmond for the VCDL Lobby Day, and I hope to see all y'all out there again next year. I appreciate everybody that we got to speak with, especially Nick Freitas. Thank you for your time and whatnot, and let's get on the road, head back to Maryland.